As a parent, you probably have many reasons why you think your son or daughter with a disability can't work or shouldn't work. You are not alone. Many parents have the same concerns, but by being open to the possibilities and with the right support, they overcame those fears and as a result, felt the benefits of work outweighed the challenges.
There were concerns, how would it work, and would she be safe, and would there be oversight? What would the job coaches be like? Would they have the right skills and personalities to handle an individual with special needs?
What concerns me is that people might look at her disability, and instead of thinking of what she can do, they're looking more at her disability and feel that they're not interested in giving her employment.
My wife and I were still pretty scared about him actually leaving the home, or he takes a bus and a train to get to work, and being around other people when we weren't there.
There were several concerns that I had. Finding the right job or employment opportunities that would match her interests and also match her abilities. Finding a place or provider that would allow her to be safe. Finding a provider and a place of employment that would encourage her to continue to grow as an individual and also to be able to live the life of the independent adult that she dreamed to be.
Let's hear from people with disabilities and their families about how their concerns were addressed.
My name is Holly Burkharder. I am friendly, happy, ongoing.
My daughter Holly is really outgoing and really sweet. She did graduate from Hereford High School with a regular diploma, but she had to take those functional tests 2 or 3 times. Holly's main disability is that she has communication disability, so she gets things mixed up and sometimes has hard time communicating her thoughts and feelings.
A long time ago, I worked at Bluemont Nurseries.
She liked being outdoors, she liked being with the plants. She's worked on their cleaning crew a lot.
I used to work at McDonald's.
She worked at Wegmans in Hunt Valley for, I think, 5 years as a helping hands. And she's done various different things in the community. She's been on their support employment team for many years. Right now, she's a principal's assistant at York Middle School in York, Pennsylvania.
I love working at Central York Middle School. I do whatever they need done. I make copies. I help in the cafeteria. I help do hall modeling.
That was one of those jobs that they created with her with customized employment, which was really created really just for Holly, and it was a perfect fit for her. She's had many jobs throughout her years there at Penmar, some of them lasting longer than others, and some of them better fits than others. But this one was really created just for her to capitalize on her strengths.
I love everything about my job. I like working with all the people there. They are so friendly.
The principal's, he calls her his right-hand arm or whatever, so she does filing, collating, copying. She makes copies a lot.
I help him in the cafeteria supervising the kids, and in the hall. In the hall.
I guess my first concern for me was like giving up control. You have to let an agency be in charge of your child, and that's pretty hard.
Penmar is an organization we're located in northern Baltimore County, and also we have a location in Glen Rock, Pennsylvania, southern York County, and we offer support services to individuals with disabilities. Holly is one of our several success stories we've had at Penmar, and she has done an outstanding job. Our job developer, Cliff Billett, who developed the job, really focused on Holly's skill set and what she could provide in her position. The 2 concerns that we hear, from parents in talking about, employment for their family members, a lot of times, the first is the fear of loss of benefits, and we have a certified benefits counselor on staff at Penmar to assist our family members and individuals, throughout that process and the different types of work incentives that are available. And then the other is safety. A lot of parents are concerned, that their son or daughter could potentially be victimized in working out in the community. And the great thing about customized employment and the customized employment approach is that safety and the different types of environments where that individual be successful is a big part of the process in developing the job.
A lot of bullying goes on in the middle school, so I was a little concerned about that, to have her go up working in a middle school, putting herself in that environment. So the principal, he and the staff reassured me that Holly was going to be his assistant, and that he tolerated absolutely no bullying, that would not be allowed, and that they would make sure that she was taken care of.
When I first started, Cliff Billa he trained me, and I learned quick. I caught on quick.
The school, this has been a great job for Holly, because I think she has a sense of importance. The kids listen to her, I think, because the principal has made it an important thing. She's a really hard worker. She's always been a hard worker. Very proud of her.
I am very proud of myself, of all the hard work I'm doing. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if I didn't work.
We are Lawrence and Benita Markle, Jessica Markle's parents. Jessica is 31 years old. She's mentally challenged. She's totally blind. She has some communication and speech and language problems. She's very capable of doing everyday things. She is independent in many ways as far as taking care of herself. However, she does live with us, and she does require around-the-clock supervision because she also has seizures.
She's always been aggressive with what she wants to do, not afraid to try something. She's always been a happy child. She has a lot of smile.
She graduated from the Maryland School for the Blind in June and started with art like July the 1st, right after graduation.
We are an organization that provides various types of supports to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Harford and Cecil counties. I wear a lot of different hats at the ARC. I am a job developer. I also supervise transition services for students exiting school at 21. I work with the Division of Rehabilitation Services to provide job development for folks who don't qualify for long-term supports. And in my spare time, I run the Summer Jobs program. Jess came to us as a transitioning youth from the Maryland School for the Blind. And when Jess was transitioning, I completed an assessment of her skills and learned very quickly that she was very tactile. Wonderful sense of touch, very good fine motor skills. At the time, we had a contract in-house to make the headrest pins that go in cars. And it required putting a piece of tape around the pin in an exact, it had to be straight, and then putting it in a punch that cut the tape. And Jess did it better than everybody else we had who could see what they were doing.
I'm Neil Christopher, Vice President of Manufacturing Operations for Acadia Windows and Doors in Baltimore, Maryland. We service primarily the multifamily housing industry, and we're active in as far north as Massachusetts and as far south as Florida. We've been partnered with the ARC since early 2005, and we'd had several employees come from the ARC who were successful and did a terrific job for us. When we were first approached by Jan from the ARC, she called up. We had placed an ad in the Aegis in Harford County looking for production workers.
I called him and I said, Neil, I've got this young lady. You just absolutely have to meet her. She's wonderful. Great fine motor skills, real good sense of touch.
Jan was very smart. She asked for 15 minutes, and everybody's got 15 minutes, and I figured it's just the right amount of time to show her how dangerous it was and then just kind of brush her off.
He took me on a tour of the facility, and he was able to see his facility through my eyes, because as we were walking around, he was showing me different machines, and, well, you know, I've got somebody who can do that. I've got somebody who can do that. And we finally made the determination that what he really needed was somebody to cut that wool pile that goes around the windows, because he was having downtime.
We had gone to our saw operators and said, what do you guys need to do to be more productive? And the saw operator said, if you can get somebody to put this weather stripping in, which is the job that Jessica does, we could fly.
And that was how she came to be at Acadia, because they fell in love with her, as everybody does.
We had a lot of concerns. We had a lot of fears.
At first, that was kind of scary to me.
Not only for her safety, but not for her physical safety, but personal safety, because she can't protect herself from anything bad that's happening to her. So we were concerned about those issues. What happens when she crosses this area where she's going to travel from the lunchroom to the workspace, and you got forklifts and trucks going through here? How's that going to be managed? Suppose she's in a distressed situation, how's that going to be handled? So they addressed all those needs. The first thing is they put a little monitor on her belt. All she has to do is touch a button and an alarm goes off, and everybody in the plant knows that she has an issue. All the employees have really have come to and jumped up to the task. I mean, they are so involved with her welfare, and they want to protect her any way they can. We had put in all these safety things into the work area as much as we could, so if she would fall, there would be protection. I was concerned. At the beginning, I was worried, but eventually it went away.
In the time that she's been here, she certainly learned her job. She does her job very well.
I really haven't had any fears until recently when she did have a seizure at work. I was really afraid that they would say she can't come back to work anymore, but they rolled with it, sent her to the emergency room, and we dealt with it, and we've made some changes in medication, and she's been fine.
We were surprised. Her parents knew that, but the epilepsy had been dormant for so long that it was not really an issue and hadn't come up. She had a seizure at the ARC, then she had a seizure here. So what became the challenge for us, because now we're enthused. We want to keep Jessica working. We want to keep her employed. So the challenge became, all right, how are we going to deal with the potential for a seizure? So we talked to the people at the ARC who have experts in that. In the beginning, we had her in a bump cap, like a little industrial hard hat. If you see her now, you see she's wearing a bicycle helmet. That came from the fact that the ARC is used to dealing people with seizure disorders, and it was an appropriate piece of headgear for somebody with a seizure disorder. The other thing we did was reorient her workplace. We turned her around 180 degrees, so now if she falls, she'll fall on the floor and rather than the machinery that was alongside of her before, and she will also fall on padding. We were able to pad the area.
She had some health issues not too long ago, and her mother called and said, Jess just came downstairs and said, it's just not right that I'm home. Today's a work day. I should be at work. Why am I not at work? You're not well. I don't care. I want to go to work. And that's just who she is.
She loves working, and when she's not working, she's not happy. Like the few times that she's been told not to come to work because of, whatever's going on, she doesn't know what to do with herself all day. She's talking about the fact that she's not at work.
Jessica puts the weather stripping inside the windows and doors. It comes in a roll, it's about 1,000 feet on a roll, and she has lengths of material in front of her that are 16 feet long. There's a slot in the material. She loads the material into the slot and pulls it till it gets to the other end, cuts it off, and then puts another piece in. She does that several hundred times a day. There's actually a machine that will do that job. And the machine, in a per minute job, is faster than a human being would be. But here's the problem. When you use the material, sometimes the material varies, it's not quite like it should be. When that happens, you have to call a maintenance man, and a maintenance man comes out and adjusts the machine. In Jessica's case, Jessica's familiar enough with the material to know what she has to do differently, and she'll make those accommodations herself. So all in all, she's actually more productive than the machine because she doesn't need the continual intervention of a maintenance man.
She is one of the hardest working people I've ever met.
She does receive employee evaluations. I will say this for Jessica and all of our people who come from the ARC. They are higher than average in reliability. They are higher than average in productivity. Remember, we're all quantified. And they have great spirit.
I think all parents, particularly if you have a disabled child, they have a higher protection mechanism. But you've got to, as a parent, you've got to prepare that individual for what's going to happen when you're gone. Not only do you have to prepare them and make sure that there are processes in place to help them through their own life, but that they're going to grow from the experience. they're going to be happier, they're going to be more socialized, they're going to be able to handle their disability better because of the exposure they're getting to the rest of the world. So if parents don't allow their children to do this, then you're not preparing your child for the future, and you're not giving the child the experiences they need to overcome their disability, and you're not contributing to the happiness of your child. So holding back and not allowing this to happen is a big mistake.
Her father shared the story that with one of her first paychecks, she took them out to dinner and was so proud of herself that she was able to do that. Working means an awful lot to Jess.
She doesn't even realize what a good employee she is. We tell her, and of course Mr. Neal tells her too, but she's happy. She's about as independent as she can get for her disability.
She's been recognized at ARC, before she got the Employee of the Year at ARC. Arcadia's been recognized by ARC as the Employer of the Year. Also, I understand that the local newspapers in this area have picked up that that Acadia is doing these things, and I think it's been publicized locally here in this area, in the Rosedale area, Baltimore area. So we're quite proud of her.
You may ask, why work when planning for your son or daughter's future? But after hearing these stories, we hope you will instead ask, work. Why yes? Why not?